We're going to start with correcting the homework. So I gave you this question and then left myself no room to do it. Oh, smart. I'm just going to snap this onto a new page. Snip it even. Okay. Right, so the first thing we were asked to do was to, that'll do, to plot the points. Okay, so this was just me checking that you knew how to do the Cartesian plane and plot the points. So when you're trying to decide what you need, basically the easiest thing to do is look for the biggest number. Okay, it doesn't matter whether it's positive or negative. So the biggest number is a 3. So then what I would do is I would go to 3 on everything. Okay, so now I have 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and 1, 2, 3. Okay, so there's my positive 1, 2, 3 on my x-axis. The cross is 0, and then I have negative 1, negative 2, negative 3. And then I have 1, 2, 3 on my y-axis, and then going the other way, negative 1, negative 2, negative 3. Okay, notice all the marks are the same distance from each other and the same distance from the center, so I'm a box for everything. Okay, so A, minus 3, minus 1. Okay, so starting from the center, the first number, the x coordinate, is your left-right number. Okay, so because it's negative, we're going to start in the center and go left. 1, 2, 3. And then the second one here is your up-down. Okay, and again, because it's negative, we're going to go down. Okay, so it is 3 steps to the left, 1, 2, 3, followed by 1 step down. So that's here. And I'm going to write A on that. All right. B, so B is 1, 1. So start in the center. The first one brings me to the right, and the second one brings me up. That's B. Back to the center. So C, the first one brings me to the right 2 steps, and then minus 1 brings me down a step. So that's there. And then back to the center. Minus 2 brings me left 2, and minus 3, 1, 2, 3, down 3. And that's D. Okay, so A, B, C, D are the vertices. Vertices is a fancy word for corners of a parallelogram A, B, C, D. Now, the fact that it makes a shape, I would draw that shape. So I'm going to join my sides. Didn't hit that. Okay. Keep going. Like that. Okay, it's not perfect, but you get the idea. Okay, so now I can see my parallelogram. Okay, so B. So find the length of AB. So length, remember, is the same as distance. So I would go to my table book, my formula and tables book. Oh, it's on the other document, sorry. So I go to my formula and tables book, which I snipped. Here it is here. I look at the length formula and I'm going to copy this down. Okay, it's always good practice to write the formula. It's just an opportunity to get marks in case you mess up. Okay, so write the formula. So x2 minus x1 squared plus y2 minus y1 squared. Okay, so it's A and B that I'm trying to find the length of. So I'm going to write them down. A is minus 3 minus 1 and B is 1, 1. Okay, next, remember I told you that this is x, y, and this is x, y. This is the first point and this is the second point. Okay, so now I have everything I need to sub into my formula. So I start with square roots, bracket x2, so 1. This minus from the formula, and then followed by x1, which is minus 3. Close bracket squared plus new bracket. y2 is 1, the minus from the formula is next, and then y1 is minus 1, close bracket, squared. Okay, so we talked about these double minuses here. So what's going on is you have a minus multiplied by a minus, which equals a plus. Okay, so I'm going to make that change in this line. So it's 1 plus 3 squared plus 1 plus 1 squared. That's 4 squared plus 2 squared, which is 16 plus 4, which is the square root of 20. Yep, doesn't say anything about decimal places. Square root of 20 is going to give me a decimal, so I'd leave it alone. Leave it as the square root of 20. It's completely fine. Okay, so the next one is the length of the diagonal AC. Alright, so again, we're doing a length, so we write down our length formula. Oh, and then I'm doing, what was it? A and C. Okay, so A is minus 3 minus 1, and C is 2 minus 1. Yep, C is 2 minus 1. Again, we label them, so we've X and Y and X and Y, and the first one and the second one. Actually, I don't know if you were going to ask this, but I normally get asked this. If I had decided to write C down first and I made that my X1 and my Y1, and I made A, so if I basically did this the other way around, it doesn't make any difference. It doesn't matter which way you label them. You'll still get the same answer. Okay? So it works out regardless. Okay, so bracket x2 is 2, the minus from the formula, and then x1 is minus 3 and squared. y2 is minus 1, the minus from the formula, and then minus 1 squared. Okay, so literally write it as you see it. Now the two minuses here are going to make a plus 3 squared plus, now this minus is there, it's these two that make the plus, and then 1. Alright, 2 and 3 is 5 squared, plus minus 1 plus 1 is 0 squared. So that is 25 for 5 squared, and 0 is just 0, and then that's 5 for the diagonal AC. And then the last one is the length of the diagonal BD, so the other diagonal. Okay, so it's another distance, like you're never going to get asked 3 distance formulas. You might get asked 2 now, to be fair, because they do like verification questions, but I would suggest that every single time in coordinate geometry you're asked to apply a formula to something that you write the formula down. It's just really, really good practice. Okay, so BD for this one. So B is 1, 1. Just write that down. And D is minus 2, minus 3. Okay, again, label them. So X and Y, X and Y. This is my first point, and this is my second point. All right, throw them in. Minus 2 for x2, the minus from the formula, and then x1 is 1 squared plus, y2 is minus 3, the minus from the formula, and y1 is 1, close squared. Okay, so minus 2 minus 3 is, sorry, I just got the answer there. Minus 2 minus 1 is minus 3 squared, plus minus 3 minus 1 is minus 4 squared. Now, hopefully you remember this, but minus 3 squared is minus 3 times minus 3. So minus multiplied by a minus is a plus, and then 3 by 3 is 9. Yeah? So when you square a minus, you get a plus. Okay, so the minus is gone. So it's 9 plus 16, which is the square root of 25, which is 5. Okay, and that makes sense because I got 5 a minute ago. So essentially, when I did this diagonal, is that even? No. Sorry. Insert a line. Okay, so when I did this diagonal, I got 5. And then when I did this diagonal, I got 5. Okay, and that makes sense because they're both diagonals in the same parallelogram, so they should be the same length. Okay, so the maths backed up kind of what should have happened. Okay, so it was a good question because part A of it practiced you plotting a Cartesian plane. Make sure you didn't mix any of them up. The most common thing is that you mix up the left right with the up down. Okay, so the x coordinate, which is the first coordinate, is your left right, and the y coordinate, which is the second one, is your up down. Okay, start from the center and then go do your right left first and your up down second. Okay, after that then I just practiced 3 length or distance formulas. So hopefully you get those now. If you got them right, brilliant. Just mark them right and move on with your life. If you had any mistakes, fix them. And if you still have questions, ask. Okay. Biggest mistake is those, like, mislabeling is a big mistake here. Okay, which is why I really, really, really ask that you keep doing it. It's very common to mislabel these, and as a result, they go in the wrong place. If you put them in the wrong place, the whole thing will be wrong. Okay, so that's like, it's a crazy mistake to make because there's nobody in the class who's not capable of putting those numbers in the right place. But it's a very common mistake that occurs because people don't do the labeling properly, or they don't take care when they're putting them into the place. Okay, so take a bit of care over it. Write the formula, label them so you can see what it is, and then make sure you put them in the right place. Be very, very aware that with minuses in a formula, you have this potential for the double minus all the time. Okay? Right, so we'll move on, and the next thing we are going to do is midpoint. Okay? So this is the midpoint formula, and if I just go back up here to the formula and tables book, you'll see it here. Midpoint. Now, the midpoint is the point in the middle. So if I gave you this point A and this point B, and you used a midpoint formula, you'd get the point right in the middle. Okay? And the fact that it's a point means it looks like this. It'll have like a number, a comma, a number, and a comma, which is why the formula is like that. See the way it has a bracket and a comma and a bracket, and then this thing here will give you one of the numbers, that will give you the x number, and this bit here will give you the y number. Okay, so that's why the formula is structured like that, because when you're finding the midpoint, you're finding a point, so ultimately it will look like this. Okay, so there's the midpoint formula as it is in your book, and as you can see, you can find it on page 18 of the formula and tables booklet, which I've just shown you. Okay, so here's A, here's B, they're 2 points, and we need to find the midpoint. Okay, so I go to my table book and I write down the formula just like I did for all the homework. So x1 plus x2 divided by 2, comma, y1 plus y2 divided by 2. And these are essentially done as 2 separate sums. Okay, so you do this sum over here to figure out what the x1 is, and you do this sum over here to figure out what the y1 is, and you don't combine them. Like I said, there's a comma, and you have your x coordinate and your y coordinate. Okay, next I'm going to write down the points. Again, just like I did for homework. And we have x1, y1, x2, y2. So I label the points again, like for homework. Okay, so let's put them in the right place. So big bracket, x1 is 1 plus x2 is minus 3 over 2. Okay, it's always over 2. Comma, y1 is minus 2, the plus from the formula, and then 4 over 2. Now here we have what was happening the last time. We have this double sign thing. So that is a plus multiplied by a minus. And when the signs are different, you get a minus. Okay, so this will change to 1 minus 3 over 2. And this is, we'll just write it as it is for a second. Okay, we'll do the calculations. So 1 minus 3 is minus 2 over 2. And minus 2 plus 4 is 2 over 2. Okay, so minus 2 divided by 2 is minus 1, and 2 divided by 2 is 1. Okay, so apparently the midpoints of these 2 points is minus 1, 1. Now I want to check that. Okay, so I'm just going to go onto this other page that I created and check it. Do you know what I might do? Actually, hang on, let me snip it. Okay, so according to my calculations, the midpoint of these 2 points is, I've forgotten what it is already. Was it minus 1, 1? Yeah, okay, minus 1, 1. Okay, so the midpoint is minus 1, 1, according to my calculations. I just want to check if graphically we get the same answer. Okay, now you don't have to do this. I'm just kind of showing you how the formula works, or if the formula works. That didn't work again. Okay, so this time, if you have a look there, the biggest number is a 4. No, I know. No, it's 4. So we're going to go to 4 with everything. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4. I kind of missed that one. 1, 2, 3, 4. Up. 1, 2, 3, 4. And 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, it's not necessary. Like, you don't have to go to 4 and everything. That's just my little rule of thumb. That's just how I draw graphs. And I know I'm covered. Okay, so pick the biggest number and go to that, and then you're covered. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and minus 1, minus 2, minus 3, minus 4. Okay, so A is 1. So I go right and down 2. So that's here. That's A. And B is minus 3. So I go over here and I go up 4. So that's there. All right, so I'll throw that line in. Why, that's so dodgy. Did it again. Okay. Ooh. Right, so there's the line. Now, according to us, the middle of that line is on minus 1, 1. There it is there. So, does that look about the middle? If I got a ruler and measured from here to here, and then measured from here to here, do you think they'd be the middle? Yeah, looks pretty good to me. Okay, so that's what the midpoint formula does. It gives you the middle point on the line, the point that is halfway on the line, the point that bisects the line, whatever way you want to say it. Okay, that's your midpoint. Anyway, the graph bit wasn't necessary. I'm just showing you. Okay, so I've 3 questions there for homework. The first 2 are ordinary level. They're actually out of the ordinary level book. This last one then is taken out of the higher level book. There's not really any difference between ordinary level and higher level when it comes to coordinate geometry, because a formula is a formula. You know, if they ask you for the distance or the length, you get that formula and you sub in. If they ask you for the midpoint, you get that formula and you sub it in. Okay, so you'll see yourself. There's no difference. Right, so that's it. So do your homework, please, and put it on Schoology, and I will chat to you again on Friday. Talk to you then.